What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that hot topic analysis again. This time is on a Sunday night, and the biggest news today is Trae Young not getting that extension signed. They want to wait on it, and he could re-sign next summer. They was open to signing a new contract next summer is basically what the Hawks and the Trae Young people are saying. When the point guard could be a free agent, Young has a 48.9 million player option for the 2026-2027 season that he could decline to enter free agency in the 2026 offseason. This could be a springboard to a new deal for Trae Young. The Hawks are interested in continuing their partnership with the point guard, but want to see the team make a playoff run. This is something that people forget. Trae Young did help the Hawks get to an Eastern Conference Finals where they ended up losing to the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Bucks became eventual NBA champions after beating them in the Phoenix Suns. While Atlanta did add Kristaps Porzingis and Nickeil Alexander Walker, and that was their biggest splash moves this summer. And then they want Jalen Johnson to get healthy because he ended up going out with a shoulder injury and he was playing like an all-star. It would be good to get him back into that starting lineup. Young is confident he can lead the team into a deeper postseason run, which he has been showing them that I can help y'all get to the playoffs, but I need y'all to give me a legitimate team to be able to continue to do it consistently. And the East kept getting tougher, and the Hawks wasn't making good enough moves to really help Trae Young out roster-wise so the wins can be shown. But Trae Young is one of the best point guards in the league. He's a 20 and 10 guy, a double-double, unselfish, great passer, can take over games, can step up in clutch moments, ain't afraid of the big moments, and he is a guy that's known as a guy that can get hot. Trae Young found of coach Quinn Snyder. They have built a great relationship as a player and a coach, which is good to see. You want your star player and your coach to be on the same page and having the same mentality when it's coming to executing the offense and defense. We know that Trae Young has never really been known as a great defensive player, but his offense is so great that he can punish you each and every possession if you don't guard what he's doing the right way. And he is a good read and reaction type of player, and he's been that way since I known him. When it comes to the fact of playing basketball, I even seen him playing that summer league because I was there, and he didn't play that well, but you can see the flow that he played with, his handles, his unselfishness, his speed, his quickness, and sometimes his floater is going, sometimes his jump shot is going, and when they are, he's a tough cover because you can't really stay in front of him. And that's one of his strongest abilities is using that burst and that speed and those handles to manipulate the defenders and confuse them, and then taking advantage of that by getting in front of them, getting that first step and being able to hit the floater or get to the basket or get to the free throw line or do a stop pop mid range or a three. And screens help too because it gives him space and gives him clean looks at the basket. Then it's just about can he make the shot, and that's what he has been able to show so far in his career, that he really understands how to play the game at a high level, and he understands how to play winning basketball. He just didn't have what's needed to be able to compete in a tough Eastern Conference that continues to get more and more talented, and his team has really not been where it needs to be. And he's a durable player. People forget he played 80 games before. Last season, he played 76. A couple of seasons before that, 73 games, 76 games, 63 games, 60 games. Like, the man has always played 60 games besides one season. So he has been durable, and he has the age too. He's only 26 years old, and in September he's going to be 27. He's still not even 30 years old yet. So he should get another extension that pays him a lot of money because he has shown you that he can't influence the game at a high level and manipulate the game to his own will and even bend it sometimes. But he does need to continue to be a great 3-point shooter because teams are going to sag off of him because he does like to pass and he does like to find openings. But he always got to remember in the back of his mind, you got to score too to keep the defense off balance. And I think he has found a good way to do it. He just needs to raise it to a great way. And the best way to do that is punish them for giving you opportunities that some deem not easy, but you have to help them pick their poison. Give me the floater, give me the pull up, give me the three, give me the layup. He understands that, but he hasn't been able to punish the defense enough. And his field goal percentage is a perfect example of that. He only had one season where he shot 45% or above, and that was it. So he's getting a lot of decent looks at the basket. He's just not converting them at a highly efficient level. Even though some of the looks are good, he's still not making enough of them. But the thing he does do well is using his handle and his balance to get to the free throw line, where he's shooting 7.4 free throws a game. The last couple seasons, one season he averaged 8.8, and another one he averaged 8.7, and the most he ever averaged was 9.3. And he shot 80% basically every single season besides one. And the one that he didn't, he shot 90%. So that was good to see. And that was something that he needed to do and he was able to do. But Trae Young came into the league averaging 19 points. And ever since then, he's been a 20-point scorer or more. And he almost averaged 30 in a season where he finished 29.6. So when it comes to production and when it comes to numbers, his numbers is there. He even turned down more scoring opportunities to help his teammates get easier shots so that way he can be a likable teammate and also a teammate that does it on and off the court because he has been doing chores and duties to keep his teammates happy, to build the friendship level, to build the trust level, the chemistry level, and a likable level. And that's something that's mature from him. But when you're getting 20 plus points a game and then you're still getting 10 assists too, and you still getting a steal and you're still efficient from everywhere besides the 3-point line some years in the field, then you're doing majority of what you should be doing as a star player and as an all-star player. And I know he has to speak up for himself from time to time because he feels like he's not getting his full credit and he's not getting his full due for what he's going out there and performing each and every time he plays basketball. The man is only 6'1", 164 pounds. So, you can't really blame him for being a little short on wins or short on situations that he shouldn't be in because the GM should be trying to find a way to keep this roster competitive around them as long as they can. And you can say, well, when they did tank a little bit, they did get Zachary Ricochet. That's not the ideal number one pick that you would want to add on a roster, even though he is a quality player and he showed that he can be a starter in the NBA just this past rookie season. But he also shows that he's a long way to go from being a very, very high level impact player. And that's something that they have needed at the wing position. And Ricochet shows that he needs to continue to grow and continues to evolve. And he needs to continue to push himself and have a more consistent year from the field, whether it's three or also just jump shots or finishing in general, even from the free throw line. So it is a talent problem that they've been having in the lane. It's not just Trae Young soaking up all the money, getting all the love and all the attention. He actually just hasn't had enough help. And then last year, when he had a little bit more help, they was winning games. But also Jalen Johnson and some other guys went down, and it just hurted the team too much, and they just couldn't replace the talent. People just couldn't step up enough, which usually happens when you depend so much on your starters, and they did. And when they went down, they just couldn't produce wins at a high enough level consistently, and that's why their record just wasn't as good as it needed to be. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just part of the game and how it is. You just have to accept, we didn't get what we thought the season would be starting it, and a lot of these things are out of our control. But we did the best we could. But they still finished second in the Southeast Division with a 40-42 record. So it wasn't the greatest thing ever. They lost to the Heat, and they also lost to Orlando Magic, making it a disappointing season for them at the end of the day. But then again, that also showed that they don't really need too much to be a playoff team, and that's why they made the move to get Nikhil, to get somebody that can handle the ball and score a little bit, two off the bench or be a starter from time to time if it's needed because of injuries. And also Kristaps Porzingis, who showed that he can rebound the ball and protect the rim and stretch the floor out as a center or power forward, depending on what lineup you're trying to throw out there. And he can still finish around the rim too with dunks because he's so tall, and that's why he's a unicorn, because he can be used in so many different ways, and he doesn't really get in your way. You just need him to be on the court, and that's been the biggest problem with Kristaps Porzingis, is staying on the court long enough to make a huge impact, and hopefully that's what they want him to do this year, is be a huge difference maker, and they're putting all their chips on him. Like, we can't get any better. This might be the biggest move we can make, and we're going to go on a former all-star big man who has the potential to be a huge difference maker on the basketball court for us, and we think that he's the guy for us. And so they make the move. It makes sense. It feels the need. It feels something that they don't have. It gives Trae Young and Jalen Johnson more space because he is a guy that can torch the 3-point line. And he can stretch it all the way up to the logo. And I think that that's something that most teams want from their big man. At least they have a guy that can do those things. So Trae Young is deserving of the extension. I'm not gonna say it like he's not. It does depend on how much money it is. It does depend on, you know, the direction that they're really trying to go in the next 2 years, because some of these contracts are rentals at this point, and now you have to see who you want to keep, who you want to let go, who you really feel like can be a big player on this team when it comes to free agents the next couple of years, because a lot of these guys are just starters or role players. They can be replaced. They're not going to make too much of a difference. Obviously, you want to continue to build around Trae and Jalen Johnson in the future, because they do have high upside as players that can influence wins on this roster. And most players aren't really running to Atlanta for some reason, even though it's a place that a lot of people like to live at. But it seems like when it comes to basketball, it doesn't seem that way. But they do have some guys on this team that you still want to see continue to gel with Trae Young, and he understands that too. Like Dyson Daniels, a guy that they took a gamble on, like Porzingis, and he brings two-way potential just like Porzingis. And for him to be able to get the steals and be able to score and be able to continue to handle the ball a little bit more and be able to be a better spot-up shooter is what you hope he can do and be for this season version of the Hawks. And if he can't, then you might just be better because you're healthier. And if you can get a little bit more healthier, maybe you win 45 games, maybe you win 47 games this year, and that helps you get seventh or eighth, for a better chance of keeping the seventh or eighth spot by only happening to win one playing game. And then it's up to you to get it done. But I'm going to be honest. I think if you can't find somebody that can give you a legitimate offer, you might as well keep doing what you've been doing. Don't, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Trae Young can get you to the playoffs. You never know what really happens when you get there, and you do have to find a way to keep a star, because you have to have something for the fans to cheer for. You have to have something for the fans that want to come see, and at least you know that they like Trae Young. He's a likable guy. He's a humble guy. He's a guy that has been what they have needed, and they believed in him, because when they drafted him and that draft trade with Doncic, he delivered. They can help you win games and help you win playoff series and step up in the big moments. But at the same time, it's some deficiencies that they knew that they was going to have to deal with when they got him, and they just have to live with those decisions in the future, because it's going to be hard to trade Trae Young and get some requisite pieces that actually make sense if you're trying to retool or rebuild. And I think that, yeah, he's going to be worth a lot of money. He showed that on his last extension. This time is like, man, we really want to probably get out of this situation, but based off how it's going and how it's looking, we better off staying in this situation because we don't have a better option. And that's why Trae Young is going to get paid. They can't really find anybody better that actually wants to be there, actually enjoys being there, and actually, steps up as a star. each and every season and tries to go out there and play as hard as he can to help his team win and doesn't really make excuses or complaints. He just goes out there and play and try to get the best results as possible, just like every other star. And he has proven that he is one of the better players in his league. He just comes with his deficiencies, just like all the other ones, and that's why you have to be smart how you want to build a team around them. And he's just a guy that's a little bit more difficult to build a team around that can be successful enough to win a championship. But they knew that when they drafted him. They knew that when they got him that he was going to come with a lot of problems. So it does make sense why people are looking at it like, man, Trae Young deserves his money because they ain't getting nothing better unless they win the lottery. And if you win the lottery, you still got to hope that that player wants to stay. You still got to hope that that player turns out to be good. And you still got to hope that it's a player that's better than what they got last time, which was a non-superstar type of player, which you have to pick with your scouts who you want to get. And if that's the guy you want to get and you feel like you're going to get him just because it's the consensus and he backed up everything you thought he can be, well, he needs to be working out and really being pushed in the off season because he has a lot to live up to if he doesn't want to be known or called a bust. But starting and being a good quality player is the first thing he needed to do. He passed those tests. Now he has to continue to put in even more work to be a legitimate reason to draft him number one, besides the fact that you probably couldn't get nothing better. There was a lot of role player-ish rookies that had successful seasons, but none of them looked like that superstar player with guaranteed all-star. And that was the hardest part about the last draft that they had when they got the number one pick. None of them really blew you away in the first round or second round, if you ask my opinion. But if I had to answer the question, like I said, Trae Young is worth the extension. They definitely should give it to him, even if it's a little less than the max, even if it is the max, because they're in a situation where they ain't getting no better. You know, one man trash is another man treasure, is what they say. You wanted Trae Young, you got him. Now he's showing you that he can give you this, he can give you that. If you can't trade him for nothing that's worth it, might as well keep him and keep trying to win with them as long as you can, until that well runs dry, is what they say. And he's willing to come back. He's willing to extend. He's willing to stay. And you know he's an all-star caliber player slash almost an all NBA player basically every season. So I don't see why you be in a rush to get rid of him when you can't find a great deal anyway. So let me know what y'all think though. Is Trae Young a guy you will want to keep? Is he a guy that you should just get rid of? Is he a guy that's overrated? Is he underrated? Is he properly rated? Or is he just a guy that we thought he would be? It's just hard to win with the guy because he's so short and he has defensive shortcomings. Well, it is what it is. But he was one of the best players in that draft and became one of the best players in the league. So he translated like we thought that he should. It just he hasn't been much of a driving factor in the playoffs, and he also hasn't had the right amount of help to prove that he was worth that top six selection, which is nice to see. But I like what I've seen down to Trae Young. I got respect for Trae Young, got love for Trae Young, and he is a really, really good player, and he has did as good as a job as you can when it comes to trying to help the team win games each and every season and not making excuses. But when you're getting picked in the top five, people know you can play, people know what you can do, and people know how much you can impact the game. And he has done a lot of the things he did in high school and college in the NBA. So he has walked the walk and talked the talk. So I'm not going to ever say he doesn't deserve his money because that man has done whatever he could for himself and for the team. And he has always put the team first. And now we just have to see if they view him and value him the same, or they're really ready to say it's time for us to go our separate ways. You can become a free agent, or we can help trade you to the place you want to be, and we can get something back. And if we can't work that out, then we have to let you go. And if we want to keep you, we have to accept everything you come with, all the baggage and all the misconceptions and all the deficiencies, and just be happy with our decision like we did when we drafted you in that year of 2018, which is a long time ago, almost 10 years ago. That's how fast time has been flying. That's how fast time has been going. But it's reality. Other than that, got love for you, Trae Young. Keep your head up, keep grinding, try to stay healthy, continue to push yourself, continue to put the teammates first as a point guard. And remember, you can score as much as you want and how much is needed, but you continue to set up your teammates. That's a tough thing to do. Is try to find a way to score and get your teammates involved throughout the entire game when the ball is constantly in your hand. You have to make decision after decision after decision after decision, and people are always going to look for, did you make the right one or did you make the wrong one? And can you really get us to the championship round and give us a chance to win a title, something we haven't done in so long? And so far, it looks like he has a long way to go to get there. And the East is getting better besides this year. So that window winning with Trae Young is slowly closing permanently. And now they're just trying to open it up a little bit more so you can feel some air. But that's not enough. You have to do a little bit more than that if you're going to believe you can win with Trae Young. I do feel like he has held his end of the bargain. And I feel like the teams they've been building around him was only really destined to be first round, second round exits and nothing more. And I feel the same way about this team. Yes, they should be better. Yes, this might be one of the better versions of the team he's been on. But at the same time, if you're not winning a championship and you don't have a championship roster, is it really worth getting excited over? Is it really worth really getting false hope over when you know that this team is should be top five, top six in the East? But sometimes people say that's all you really need to be to have a chance to win the title. I guess, I mean, it's been proven, but is this team really a lock at top six? Is they really a 7 or 8? Is they really a 9 or 10? Is the injuries just helping them climb up a little higher? But they still got to stay healthy themselves too, and they still have to mesh and gel well. Just because they look good on paper doesn't mean that they're a guarantee to be a playoff team. We have seen that so many times just this decade alone. They trade for a star, they trade for a superstar, and then it doesn't really turn into guaranteed playoff success, or it doesn't turn into a championship or a good ride in the playoffs in general. So Porzingis, Nikhil sounds good on paper, but at the same time, we still have to see if it works out on the court. And that's something that we do have to continue to wait and see. And it's something fun to look forward to. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I do conversation videos just like this about various NBA only topics. I also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and also future stars. And I also do mock drafts and draft covers too. So if you love NBA content and you can't get enough, this is the channel for you. I promise you. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed y'all weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed y'all day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for continuing to come back and appreciating the content for what it is. Also, thanks for supporting me in the past. And also, hopefully, y'all continue to support me in the present and also in the future. And all I can say is thanks for continuing to come back for 10 plus years, for the ones that have been holding me down and continuing to love the content that I make on the daily basis, yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, and even on the minute basis, because I continue to go hard sometimes. Other than that, love y'all. I'm going for now. Peace out. Y'all stay blessed up and see y'all later, hopefully.